Hello everyone, thank you for joining us here today. We'll be starting the webinar in a couple of minutes. So just a quick round of introductions to begin with. My name is Aisling Murphy. I'm a Senior Relationship Manager here for LinkedIn Sales Solutions, and I'll be joined today by my colleagues Doug Orme-Lynch and by Jamie Barbour. Doug is also a Relationship Manager here in LinkedIn Sales Solutions, and he will be joining me later on. And Jamie is our Solutions Consultant, and he will be running through demos of both our product solutions throughout the presentation. So we're really excited today to dive into the details of what LinkedIn data can do for your sales organization, because it's a lot more than many people realize, even people who already are getting great value from our sales tools. LinkedIn can power prospecting and build pipeline for sales reps. And some of you in this session will know that from your experience with Sales Navigator. However, LinkedIn data can also be deployed at a higher level within your organization. It can direct business strategy, inform forecasting, change the relationship between sales and sales operations, and transform morale and engagement across the sales organization as a whole. We're going to be looking at 3 core ways in which you can translate LinkedIn data to your sales success over the next year and beyond. Through smarter sales planning and the organizational alignment that comes with it, through operational deployment, sales tools and new sales methodologies, and through synchronizing sales tech and transforming overall data quality. Before we get going, I want to take a few minutes to discuss what it is about LinkedIn data that makes it such a powerful asset. You'll have all heard the phrase, people buy from people. And it's true. At the heart of it, successful sales comes down to one person's capacity to understand the needs of another and act on an insight in the right way. The reason why LinkedIn is Europe's most trusted source of sales intelligence is simple. It's the platform that runs on people-led data that captures the view of the individual and which is updated in real time at an individual level. This makes it a powerful tool for reps identifying buying committees or multi-threading accounts. But it can also be scaled up and aggregated to provide a robust real-time view of account readiness, white space opportunities, and total addressable market. A people-powered view of sales is what makes LinkedIn data unique and uniquely valuable. Let's explore how to apply it. Let's start by talking about a need that almost every organization feels at the moment, the need for smarter sales planning. The last 18 months have made it powerfully clear that we no longer can afford to build our sales strategy around static data. If it's not accurate and if it's not updated, then it's swiftly left behind by the pace of change. The businesses that we're selling to are themselves adapting. Their strategies are shifting, their planning horizons are shortening, their needs are changing, and the people involved in the buying decisions are changing too. Add these shifts together and entire markets can be on the move. We've identified 3 key areas in which LinkedIn data can help keep your sales strategy connected to these changes, giving your organization the best chance for success. The first is enabling sales operations to carve out more efficient and direct paths to revenue for sales. When we have a real-time view of where the white space and opportunities are, we're able to transform the relationship between operations and sales. Territory allocations become empowering rather than a source of frustration. Targets become a trusted indicator of what can be achieved rather than an arbitrary number. In contrast, poor quality data has negative impacts throughout the business. It destroys morale, focuses sales ops on firefighting, and restricts their ability to guide sales towards revenue operation or opportunities. This has a bottom line consequence. Our research shows that 1 in 5 sales organizations have lost out on a customer due to incomplete or inaccurate data. The second is equipping sales teams with real-time people data that can inform your prospecting, alert them to opportunities and challenges at their accounts. We recently surveyed 7,500 sellers, 85% of whom said they've lost or delayed a deal because a decision maker changed jobs. Decision maker turnover makes it hard for sellers to keep up with the right buyers to engage. If a rep hasn't multi-threaded or built additional relationships ahead of time, she'll be left scrambling, trying to find and build relationships with new contacts. This is an issue that's particularly pressing right now as we approach moving month for business decision makers. Our data shows that senior buyers and influencers are almost twice as likely to move jobs in the month of January than they are any other time of the year. With organizations navigating the return to the office and many taking time to consider how and why they work, the January jump can be even bigger or an even bigger factor this year. In an era of increasingly remote virtual buyer journeys, salespeople need to demonstrate a deep understanding of a buyer's needs and those of their business in order to engage with them. With circumstances changing quickly and buyers' own planning horizons shortening, this understanding has to be real time. Knowing the strategy a business had a year and a half ago won't help you. In our latest State of Sales survey, failure to demonstrate this type of in-depth, updated understanding is one of the top reasons why buyers refuse to engage or walk away from deals. LinkedIn is the source of sales data best able to keep up with this changing market. That's because of its unique global scale and its unique people-level perspective. Our membership of over 744 million, with 3 new members joining every second, provides visibility in every category in every country. It gathers data from the world's professionals all in one place. Our account level insights draw on data from more than 57 million companies, with over 7,000 new company pages created each week. These businesses are building their brands and their networks on LinkedIn, sending important signals about their priorities and their stages of growth. Importantly, LinkedIn is where they come to hire new people. 3 people are hired through our platform every minute. And at any one time, there are over 14 million open jobs listed on LinkedIn. This stream of data provides a vital insight into growth and strategy for different companies, which adds up to valuable insight into the real size of addressable markets and the nature of white space opportunities. Then there's the activity of decision makers themselves. There are more than 65 million of these on LinkedIn. They access content, reaching out to potential customers and partners, and provide robust data signals that can inform your sales outreach. The average decision maker visits 391 LinkedIn pages every month. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the first of the 2 tools that we're going to be talking about today. LinkedIn Sales Insights is a new platform that activates the unique breadth and depth of LinkedIn data for your business and sales strategy. When you're looking for your route to growth and revenue as a business, it simply turns the lights on. We've picked out 3 ways in which LinkedIn Sales Insights can transform sales operations and planning. Firstly, through the smarter sales planning that's possible through real-time data and relationship analysis. This enables you to keep track of the opportunity landscape, build better books of business, focus your teams on the right accounts, and generate confidence and momentum. It's the smarter strategic overview that sets up your teams for success. Secondly, by transforming your view on your total addressable market, identifying white space, enabling far more accurate forecasting, and putting sales and sales operations in a position where you can help shape the business strategy going forward. Thirdly, and underpinning everything else that Sales Insights does, by transforming the quality of CRM data. Businesses that have rolled out Sales Insights describe how it solved long-running data quality issues pretty much overnight. In doing so, it transforms the relationship between sales operations and sales. Rather than firefighting and dealing with your sales team's frustrations and outdated territory assignments, Sales Ops is able to focus far more of its time on evolving your strategy and empowering your teams. Now I'm going to hand it over to Jamie for our LinkedIn Sales Insights product demo.
Great. Thank you, Aisling, for the introduction and for walking us through the early stage of the webinar. So what we'll do now, everyone, is we'll actually look into Sales Insights first. So think of this as everyone on the call, looking at the attendance. We have varying different people from different parts of the businesses. So think of LSI as a planning tool for multiple different types of people in the business. So today we're going to look at marketing, sales, maybe data professionals, sales operations, CRM professionals, how we can address all of your planning needs with data that you see here on the screen from all of the people and the companies that we have on LinkedIn. So we'll show you how you can start to leverage some of that. I have some specific examples. Where we'll start here is on the map. I really want everyone to understand where we get our data from for LinkedIn Sales Insights, which is the planning tool, and then for sales execution with Sales Navigator. It's from all the members in our network. So we have about 800 million members or so in our network in over 60 million companies, and they provide that first party data. So I have a profile, I update my title, where I work, my information, the fact that I work at LinkedIn. And then what we're doing with our tools is that helping all of the people on the call, how do you actually find the right people, the right companies on our platform so you can engage with them? And we do that in a really thoughtful, compliant, trustworthy, GDPR compliant way as well. So let's jump into it with Sales Insights. And Sales Insights will be around planning. So when I move across the Sales Insights, I will talk about 3 different kind of use cases today. There are many more, but just given the time we have and all of the different types of audiences we have on the call, I've picked out 3 really important ones. So you'll see here for the webinar, we have a report based on our top 1,000 companies. So that might be a specific list of companies that we look at, key accounts. We can also look at it, maybe we want to do some account-based marketing to those companies, to specific types of personas. Then we might look at, as our second example, sales white space. So where sales planners, sales leaders, teams that partner with sales, we might be looking at white space. That could be marketing, might be operations. Maybe we want to narrow in on high potential companies that have 50% growth in our territory, in our regions. Another use case and example we'll look at. And then we'll look at more data side of things. CRM account enrichment. How do we take some of that rich first party data from LinkedIn and bring that across to maybe our CRM? So we can use this to inform ourselves of changes that are happening in those companies, in those accounts. So let's look at the first one then. This one is an example of the top 1,000 companies, or I might say account-based marketing targets. That might be key accounts for sales, and marketing might be supporting us there with some account-based marketing campaigns. Now, what you see in the screen is a report of those 1,000 companies. And how I've actually narrowed in on that is I've looked at all companies on LinkedIn. I've looked at company size. So these today are the 1,000 largest companies on LinkedIn by number of employees. And then what we've also brought in is some personas. So for my webinar here, I have yellow persona is C-level. Greeny gray is IT buyers. And then this kind of reddy orange one is sales and marketing function. We'll talk about personas in a minute just to show you the granularity that personas can get to. But what we see in the report is a list of all the companies, the number of employees they have on LinkedIn. And then over here that I've highlighted blue is specifically the number of people within these individual personas, or the number of jobs that are posted in those personas. So not only can we start to organize our targeting based on size of company, all employees on LinkedIn, we can now also look at how big are the target audiences or the personas or the target buyer groups that I'd like to speak to. And I can sort my report here by those things. So it might be by count of employees in that persona or by the growth rate. So we can see how they're trending today or across the last 12 months, year on year. And then we can also see future growth around jobs posted on LinkedIn, specifically in those personas. So if IBM are growing in a particular persona, we can see future growth that might happen there as well. We get feedback from our sales team also. So how connected our team are, our sales team and our extended sales team, people around them with TeamLink Extend and Sales Navigator. We can look then at the number of employees that our sales team have researched. If we think about the sales funnel, I will research people and then I will try and connect with them. And if they connect back with me, they're engaged. So on this report, I can actually see that sales kind of workflow in relation to all of these companies. Again, this is another way to prioritize. So we get that feedback from the sales team. And from a kind of a key account or a marketing perspective, if we're doing brand engagement here at a very top of funnel, if we're doing specific persona-based campaigns to these people, we also want to understand how sales are interacting with them so that we can coordinate. And the beauty of using one tool to plan is that we have that same view of the world. We have that same view of the companies, and we can make sure we're both targeting from either part of the business, whether it's sales or marketing. Now let's look at maybe an alternative. So this is around sizing of companies. So we look again, all companies, sales white space, high potential, greater than 50% growth. So we can see we've put in a filter here on company size, but also we've put in a filter on how fast those companies are growing. Now, I don't have any persona in here. I left it blank. So this is really just about how quickly are those companies growing. So Amazon, who we all know, growing very quickly. They have a lot of jobs posted. But what I can do is I can, again, start to put in different filters across here. Look how connected my sales team are, how actively engaged they are. I can look at it based on location. Location, I can look and see where are these fast growing companies across the globe. And I can start planning for my teams to engage with them. So United States has nearly 3,000 of those companies, then Brazil, then India, then United Kingdom. So we can kind of see growth and get a different picture of our approach. Or it might be where those personas exist. So I can look and see where personas are if I don't really focus based on HQ location. So for me, this is a fantastic way to prioritize with additional levels of information that we derive from the LinkedIn platform around growth, around how fast companies are growing, around where they're growing, what functions, etc. And then the last example here will be around CRM account enrichment. So we can connect directly with CRMs. Or if it's not a CRM that has an integration, you can simply export a list from CRM, like I've done, bring in my list of 1,000 companies that I want to focus on from my CRM, enrich them within LSI, and then pass that back to CRM and import the information. So I can get all of this rich insight from LinkedIn and bring it back into my CRM to use and maybe target or understand these companies in a bit better way. Now, from the perspective of personas, before I jump into exports, personas is really, really easy. We make it very manageable for users to identify those right people. And we also help you with suggestions. So what I mean by this is my persona builder. So my IT buyer persona. I have lots of different job titles that I've typed in here, but you'll actually see on some of them, they have a little number beside them. And the reason for this is if I type in maybe information technology manager, I want to make sure that I also capture all the variations. So senior, assistant, group, regional information technology manager, and we can automatically bring those in. And as we build out our personas, based on all the titles of those people that supply that data on LinkedIn to us, we can look at suggestions. So we'll give you a little hand on, hey, did you miss this person, Director of Information Systems, or the variations below it? I can simply add those in. And then they will be the people that we view on the reports and the personas. Now, from an export perspective, it's very straightforward. Marketing, you can export those lists and put them in places like Campaign Manager. So you can see I have my marketing ABM accounts here. I've uploaded about 1,000 companies, and there's about 46 million people or members on our platform within those 1,000 companies. They're the large ones. But it's very simple to now verify that those personas exist and target them then in a tool like Campaign Manager. From a sales execution perspective, once I narrow in the companies that matter to me, I can pass those companies or lists of companies directly to Sales Navigator. So my sales team can get to work really quickly and say, our planners have verified personas exist in these companies in my territory. So I don't waste time. I can get to these companies and find those personas very quickly. And I don't have to in Sales Navigator anymore. It's already done at a macro scale in LSI. And then last of all, I can pass this information directly to CRM. So this example is Salesforce. It might be Dynamics. It might be other CRMs. We have our Sales Navigator window down here, which is a view into Sales Navigator. But on the right-hand side, we have our LinkedIn Sales Insights component, where we're passing all of those fields from the report directly into your CRM. And then you can use that to verify, has the persona hit a certain threshold where I'd like to maybe run a campaign or reach out to this company? Or if I run a report across all my open opportunity pipeline, is this a different way that I can prioritize based on persona, growth, number of employees, etc.? So really, LinkedIn Sales Insights, given the name, you would think it's just for sales, but marketing, data operations, data enrichment team, sales ops, and also sales would find great use for planning and coordinating together on the same approach. So I'll now pass back to Aisling and Doug, and we will talk about Sales Navigator a little bit later.
Now that we've had a look at how LinkedIn data can illuminate your wider sales and business strategy, let's get more granular and look at how we can deploy LinkedIn data operationally to help your sales professionals prospect, build a relationship, and close deals. Using data in this way is no longer optional. Buyers' changing expectations increasingly demand it. The pandemic has accelerated the shift from a linear process that's designed by sales to one that's more complex, far less predictable, and led by the buyer. And guess what? That's what the buyers themselves prefer. They've embraced remote, self-directed buying because of the control it gives them over the direction and the speed of their buying journey. In LinkedIn's State of Sales survey, buyers are almost 3 times more likely to say that working remotely has made purchasing easier. We've seen 3 trends emerging and that are shaping the virtual buying world. Firstly, buyers are considering many more products and services before making an investment for their company. The availability of information about these products and services is creating more competitive environments with many sellers vying for buyers' attention. Secondly, buyers' journey is also getting more complex. A Gartner study revealed a typical buying committee involves 6 to 10 decision makers who are armed with 4 to 5 pieces of information. In order for a company to move forward with a product or service, the entire buying committee must first come to a consensus about the purchase. And lastly, with an increase in sales outreach since the pandemic, buyers are overwhelmed. They have more selection in who they respond to. In fact, 90% of executives say they don't respond to traditional B2B sales anymore, adding that they only engage with sellers that they deem trustworthy and show value from the first interaction. Now let's talk about our buyer-first methodology. In these circumstances, buyers won't engage with salespeople just to fit the salesperson's agenda. And they won't engage with salespeople because it's the only way to find information. They engage with salespeople who signal they have value to add that the buyer can't access for themselves. This value comes from insight and understanding that LinkedIn data can provide. It also comes from the way that salespeople apply this data. One of the most interesting insights in our state of sales survey for Europe is that 80% of buyers say that they are more likely to consider products and services if the buyer challenges their way of thinking. However, only 46% say this often happens. The greatest value of all comes from salespeople who signal that they will use their insights and understanding to act as advocates for their customer, even above the needs of their own organization. We call this the buyer-first sales methodology, and it's one that aligns very strongly with the era of remote buying. In fact, top-performing salespeople who have exceeded their quota by 25% or more during the pandemic are twice as likely to say that they always put the buyer first. We've identified 5 key characteristics of a buyer-first approach, and all are enhanced by access to real-time insights on buyers and their needs. Firstly, learn, then define. Active listening is a critical foundation for the buyer-first relationship. Share readily. Buyer-first selling is about transparency and always empowering buyers with information. Solve, don't sell. A buyer-first seller measures success in problem solved as well as product sold. Deliver value. It's critical to see the relationship through long after the deal is signed. And lastly, earn trust. A buyer-first seller develops long-term trusted relationships by always acting in the best interest of the buyer. Keeping up means going all in on sales tech. But how are sales organizations approaching the evolution and meeting these buyers' expectations? They've adjusted by ramping up the investment in sales technology to an extent never seen before. Half of all companies we've surveyed say that they've responded to the challenge of the last year by adding new sales technologies to their stack. And this sales tech revolution is just getting started. The majority of sales professionals expect their business to increase investment in tech again over the next year. And a third of respondents anticipate an increase of 50% more. This makes delivering actionable data in the front line of sales essential for your ability to keep up. Sales Navigator has become the tool that salespeople turn to for those sales intelligence they need to navigate virtual selling. 2/3 of salespeople now use LinkedIn as their source of sales intelligence. What is more notable is that 50% use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is more than any other sales intelligence platform. Broadly speaking, Sales Navigator supports reps in 3 crucial ways. Firstly, it drives prospecting by alerting salespeople to opportunities as they arise, identifying the right companies to target and the people within those companies who influence purchasing decisions. You can set up alerts for new opportunities connected with existing champions and get updates when new account and decision makers match your search criteria, and track and prioritize every buying committee member. Secondly, it enables salespeople to signal value from the start by providing insights on a buyer's current needs, leveraging data on current engagement, broader activity, new hires, and more. And lastly, it enables salespeople to act on insights through personalized outreach, identifying opportunities for warm introductions, highlight common connections and interests, and alerting them when contacts post or comment on LinkedIn. This strengthens the ability to build pipeline, strengthens relationships, and close more deals. It's why salespeople see a 17% increase in win rate when they start saving deals to Sales Navigator. It's also why Sales Navigator users land deals 42% larger on average. The increase in productivity helps to explain why 59% of total revenue for Sales Navigator users has been influenced through the platform. Now we're going to hand over to Jamie, who's going to run us through a demonstration of Sales Navigator.
Great. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Aisling. So great overview so far. If you remember back to my last couple of minutes earlier on, we talked about LSI. So it was around planning. Now we will look at Sales Navigator. So that's essentially sales execution. Now, again, really important to stress who are we focusing on? So that is based on the map here. And also, how can we address all of the people on the call with this? So typically Sales Navigator will be a sales execution tool for key account managers, BDRs, SDRs, sales professionals, sales leadership. But it's really important that we're bringing together all of the different touch points with different stakeholders. So how sales and marketing are aligning, how CRM integrations and that data that we get from LSI and accounts kind of flows across to that sales execution piece. So again, but in a slightly different focus, we'll be looking at those 800 million members or so, but how do we individually engage with them at a kind of a one-to-one, really quality kind of level? So that's where we bring in Sales Navigator then. So if I jump into Sales Navigator, this is my home view. Lots of great insights I can take as a seller that are actionable. And what I mean by that is I can see here, highlights, LinkedIn activity has been trending with the company LinkedIn. Or it might be Amazon activity. So what I can do is I can star this account because I might want to come back to it in future. I can go in and view the account map if I want to kind of build out my view of this company. And then I have my alerts below. So I'll be alerted on account information, leads, maybe shared activity around collaborating with other people in the business, whether that's another salesperson or maybe a handover to an account manager or other people like customer success or business development that might be working hand in hand with me. I can narrow in on leads. Leads are people, accounts are companies, and I can start to get a view of all the things that are happening in here that are actionable. So if a person has been promoted, if they've moved company, if they've posted content, I can really zero in on that and speak to them about something that's top of mind for them. And really the importance for me as a seller here is that I'm kind of front in mind with what's front in mind for them. And I can take a buyer first approach, as we talked about, to engage with these people. You'll see in the right-hand side then as well, I have priority accounts, and we get in, again, more of that rich information from LinkedIn about headcount growth, number of people, buyer interest with some of those companies. And if I find something actually that I want to come back to later on, I can manage that as well. So I can bookmark alerts. I can come back to these in future. So that's my homepage. But from there, though, I might look at a particular company. And what I want to do is start to map out who are the people that matter. So I have a couple of saved leads that I can put onto my little map here, and I can move these people around if I like, to give me my view of what this company is doing and how I want to approach them. I get recommended leads over here as well. So if I'm particularly focused on a particular function, I can narrow in on that, say, show me some business development people, and it will narrow it down. And I can simply change that. And I can work my way through the different parts of the business to make sure that I've built out that really rich map of the people that I'd like to engage with as a seller. I can go at scale and look across all employees. So I can bring up my list here. I can narrow in on a geo if I like. So maybe New York City. Here are all the people that work at that company. And then I can start putting in maybe keywords or different things. I can also look at spotlights. So we use a little bit of an algorithm or AI to say, hey, here are some kind of things that you might be able to speak to these people about. So maybe if they've changed jobs, of the 1,000 people, I have 300 that have changed job. Congratulate them, maybe give them some insights on how I might help them in that new role. Team link introductions. How I can be introduced by one of my colleagues because of the connectivity we have in Sales Navigator of all the Sales Navigator users that surface to all your sellers. Or maybe they're mentioned in the news if they're a senior person. Or it could be that they already follow your company. It's a much easier conversation to have with those people. So that's kind of at the macro level, or as we go into each company and we work through it. But we want to kind of be efficient and do this at scale. So maybe think back to what we've done previously in LSI earlier on in the call. What we can do is actually pass our lists. So you remember the October 14th webinar, the account enrichment report around those top picks. I had 95 companies. I've passed this list of companies directly to Sales Navigator. I said earlier, our due diligence is now done. So as a seller, I am confident and empowered to go through each of these accounts and find the dedicated personas or descriptions of people that I want to engage with. knowing that my planning team have already helped me to focus on the right accounts, given all of the criteria that we show on LSI during our planning. But I can do this at scale. So if I go into a saved lead search, here are all my saved searches, and I want to get back quickly to where I've been before. So I can go into my IT buyer persona. And all the keywords in here for those types of roles or titles are built into my kind of little Boolean string here of all the different types of people I want to find. You can see there's 740,000 of them on LinkedIn, but I want to focus on those 95 accounts. So I just overlay an account list in here. And what I can do then is start to very quickly identify all of the people that matter within the companies that matter. And then I work through my list. Now, again, 32,000 might be a little bit too macro, so we can bring in things like spotlights. Or we can go down here to company and say, which companies have the largest number of people? Well, I might start with Microsoft and IBM and AT&T, et cetera, and work my way down the list. Again, this is starting to prioritize for our salespeople to get them speaking to those people much quicker. And then I can work through my list and I can look at things here like where they've worked. Do I have TeamLink colleagues that can give me introductions to them? Have they posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days? Do I have a common connection? Do they have an open profile where I can send them a message, a direct message directly, and that will land on their mobile phone, LinkedIn app, also on their web browser. And if I send them an email even, it will send a copy of that to their email. Now, from there, once I work through all of these people, I'll probably want to manage this in some way. And this is where lists come in. So lists make it really easy for sellers to take stock of who they've targeted, where they are within that kind of cycle of touch points that a typical salesperson would take. So I have a list of all my people here, the account they're in, geography. I can add notes here. So maybe this is an early stage lead and I don't want to put them into CRM yet. So I can take notes here of where I've been, what I need to do today, and what I need to do next. And every time I come back into LinkedIn, I can update my notes. But it also helps me here with spotlights. So if I come back to my list, I can look at people that changed jobs. I can look at people that have posted on LinkedIn, or I can look at maybe people that share experience with me. And this is actionable things that I can have a conversation with them about. This is where I'm managing our day-to-day. Now, when we talk about kind of outreach, there's a couple of different ways. We might look at smart links, which is built into Sales Navigator, or InMail, or messages. These are all 3 ways that we can engage on the LinkedIn platform and really get back valuable information. So smart links, I can create maybe a content package. And then what I might want to do is send that to one of my target buyers. And that might be something like a PowerPoint, many pages, PDF. It might be a YouTube video. And the beauty of smart links is that when they engage with this content, I will get insights on the back of smart links. So Jamie Barbour accessed this for 4 seconds. He's viewed it, or he's downloaded, or he's watched the video, et cetera, et cetera. So for me as a seller, this is really important because I can then talk to them about their interest. So it's buying intent. What are they interested in? What is most important to them? And I can focus. And that for me makes me a credible seller because I'm speaking to their interest, which probably relates to their needs or their particular role or challenges they're trying to solve. And that will elevate me above my peers and other companies that are also trying to speak to this person. Now, the last piece is it's all well and good to do this within Sales Navigator and make sure we are taking notes, building our lists, and all that kind of important stuff. But sometimes we're not working in Sales Navigator. Sometimes we're working maybe in CRM. So again, we focus on how can we take action within our CRM in Sales Navigator. And it's very simple. I can save people. I can look at my connectivity. I can view the news against this particular company while I'm in CRM, maybe managing opportunities, creating leads, creating contacts, etc. So for me, really useful that wherever I am as a seller, I have access to the tools I need. And then more so than that, my planning team in LSI, they've given me some extra information in here that I can use. So I can reach out to Amazon and talk to them about particular things that might be front of mind for them. And then also have a discussion with them about maybe their communications team, because I can see their persona has grown by 28% and how we provide value for those types of people. And I will come off as a very credible seller because I have all these insights that I can have better conversations. Buyer first. So that really brings us to the end of the Sales Navigator demonstration today. So those two areas of planning and sales execution, we'd love to show you more in future. So if you want to particularly hear more about LSI, or you'd like to know more about Sales Navigator or how they work better together, please reach out to your relationship manager or your account executive, and we'll schedule in some time to go a little bit deeper around your particular go-to-market. So I'll pass back to Aisling and Doug to close the call out. Thanks for your time today, everyone. I'm looking forward to speaking to some of you soon for a more deep dive of this.
Thank you, Jamie. To round off, let's take a closer look at the impact that Sales Navigator and LinkedIn Sales Insights have on CRM data, and how using the two tools together creates a single reliable data foundation for the entire sales organization to act on.
Thanks, Aisling. With Sales Insights, you can identify accounts that fit your ideal customer profile in the regions and territory your company sells to. Size opportunities based on global or persona headcount, and export to your CRM, and exclude known accounts to uncover white space opportunities. When you connect Sales Insights and Sales Navigator, you are able to prioritize accounts based on connectivity and Sales Navigator activity metrics, feed insights on account growth and engagement trends to your sales team, and export prioritized lists of accounts for reps to use in Sales Navigator. And all the time, you're strengthening and enriching your CRM through real-time firmographic and persona data from Sales Insights, and alerts and updates direct from Sales Navigator. For an example of the impact of that transforming data quality can have, let's look at the story of the document productivity business, Nitro, which adopted Sales Insights to help solve persistent data quality issues. Nitro reports that Sales Insights has transformed its view of the market, inspired a new approach to business planning, and reinvigorated its acquisition strategy. LinkedIn Sales Insights has changed the way that we think about our total addressable market and about headcount capacity modeling, says Nitro Senior Director of Revenue Operations, Shantanu Shekhar. I believe it will play a pivotal role transforming revenue operations relationship with sales and finance. Giving your sales strategy a foundation in LinkedIn data doesn't just transform data quality. It transforms the scope of your sales strategy. It illuminates where the opportunities are, aligns your resources with them, and empowers your teams to execute. It connects your entire sales organization like never before. So thank you very much for your attention. And we hope you enjoyed the presentation so far. We've got a few questions that we received throughout this presentation that we're going to answer for you now. If you haven't, if you asked a question you haven't had it answered here, please feel free to follow up with your relationship manager offline, and they'll be able to help you and provide more information.
Yeah, so I'll start with the first question. So someone asked here, can I use LSI without it being associated to a CRM system such as Salesforce or Microsoft? The answer is yes, you can use LSI. Whatever CRM system that you have, you are able to use LSI. You simply download the data from LSI, you can pop it onto a CSV, and you can upload that to any data set that you have, whether it be CRM or anything that you use.
Super, thanks, Aisling. We have another one here as well about what is the buyer interest feature in Sales Navigator. So the buyer interest feature in Sales Navigator gives an inbound marketing alert to all Sales Navigator license holders. So these are alerts for key decision makers, personas, and accounts that you're actively trying to hunt into that you saved on Sales Navigator. And this alerts you when individuals from these accounts are researching your company. And what it will do is it'll give you a report of the seniority, the region, and of course the account from which these individuals are researching your company. So it's very helpful for retargeting, prioritizing your outreach, and also feeding back into your sales and marketing outreach strategy.
Super, Doug. We'll pick another question here. So do sales reps need access to an LSI account in order to have visibility on target accounts? So the good news is no, your sales reps do not need an LSI account. All your sales reps need is a Sales Navigator account. So Sales Insights gives a bird's eye view of the total addressable market, and then you're able to share that with any of your Sales Navigator users on your account as well. So quick answer, no, they do not need an LSI account, just a Sales Navigator account.
Excellent. And I think we got time for one more here. Can we use LSI for ABM, account-based marketing? The answer to that is yes. So again, if you think about it, what better way to inform your marketing outreach by also having that visibility on where the white space is in terms of regions, territories, industries, and where you already have a good presence, but again, probably a bit underpenetrated. So yes, getting that kind of those insights first as part of your planning is excellent, and then you can feed that back through in targeted lists through your Sales Navigator users to do direct outreach via InMail on Sales Navigator. So ABM can be achieved in that kind of tandem with LSI and Sales Navigator. But we actually have some webinars and more content coming up about this exact topic coming up in the next couple of weeks and months. So please keep an eye out for emails coming through to you about these events.
And I think that wraps us up for this morning. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us today. As Doug mentioned earlier, if you have any questions at all, or you'd like some more information about LinkedIn Sales Insights or Sales Navigator, please do reach out to your relationship manager or your point of contact within LinkedIn, and they'll be happy to help you going forward. But that is all from us. So thank you again, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.